You might find this hard to believe, but if you pre-ordered or bought The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Switch, you're about to play what may be one of the best video games ever made, period. What's going on, Tech Squad? Andrew Edwards here, editor-in-chief of GearLive.com, and today I'm bringing you my spoiler-free review of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Switch. Now, the game will also be available for the Wii U, but I've never played that version, so things that I mentioned here may not correlate over to last generation's hardware. So again, we're focusing on the Nintendo Switch version of Breath of the Wild. Now, before I get started, I do want to remind you guys that we do have the Nintendo Switch giveaway, which includes a copy of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I'm going to leave a card right here to allow you to quickly head over to that video so you can enter to win, and I'll also leave a link down in the description below to take you over to the giveaway page. Again, the winner gets a free Nintendo Switch and a copy of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And just in case you miss it, I'll also leave links down below to my Nintendo Switch hardware review, as well as the Nintendo Switch unboxing and my list for the top 5 accessories you need to buy to go along with your Nintendo Switch. But now let's move in to the Breath of the Wild review. And again, I know it sounds like hyperbole, but I honestly believe that Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Switch, this is Nintendo's masterpiece. Not only is it the biggest Legend of Zelda game to date, but I personally think that it's the most ambitious title Nintendo has ever made. So let's jump in and get started with the style and approach of the game. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild turns away from previous series conventions in a refreshing and modern way. Instead of a linear path through preset dungeons, the game quickly has you chasing after shrines. Now, these shrines are pretty much miniature dungeons scattered all over the map. You go in and there's typically 1 or 2 small trials, and at the end, you get some sort of reward or new ability. And once you've beaten a shrine, it becomes a fast travel point. Now, the game does still have the conventional dungeons that you're used to, and they're some of the most interesting ever seen in the Zelda series. That said, the addition of the shrines adds to the more open feel of the game. And you get a sense of just how open this game is right off the bat. And you just take a look at the vista of Hyrule and you notice very quickly that anything you see in the map is something that you can physically travel to. How you get from your current location to the quest destination, however, is up to you. More often than not, you'll find you have to enter brand new territory for a quest. And the thing with Breath of the Wild is that it doesn't hold your hand while you play. It doesn't have that 30 to 60 minute play tutorial that other Zelda games have had. You pretty much wake up and you start playing the game. What Breath of the Wild does is it rewards exploration and perseverance. When you come to a new land, it's up to you to figure out where everything is. And in fact, you're given the ability to put custom markers on your map because it's your responsibility to keep track of where enemies, dungeons, shrines, and anything else you want to remember the location of. Now, I mentioned how big the game is. Let's talk about Hyrule for a moment. Pretty much every Zelda game takes place in the land of Hyrule. Not all of them, but the vast majority of them. In The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Hyrule is a vibrant place full of life. The world has active weather, it has a clock that shows you the time of day, and the weather and time affect Link in different ways. Rain will make the rocks more difficult to climb, thunderstorms will electrocute you if you're wearing metal armor or weapons, and the temperature plays a role as well. Freezing temperatures will make some areas impassable until you figure out how to stay warm. And again, how to stay warm could be up to you. Maybe you find and wear warm clothing, or maybe you cook up a potion that builds your tolerance to the cold for a limited amount of time. By the same token, too much heat can have a negative effect, making your wooden items burst into flames if you don't reach cooler climate in time. Now, the plant life in Hyrule can also be your friend or foe as well. As I mentioned, you can make up cocktails and you can also cook food. You'll find ingredients all around you. Apples grow on trees, meat can be harvested from deer and other animals you see roaming around. And if you choose, you can completely live off the land, not having to rely on collecting rupees to buy stuff. So that's Hyrule. But now I want to get into the gameplay because The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is both satisfying and super difficult. But it's difficult in a good way, and you probably know what I mean. It's very challenging, but not to the point where you want to throw a controller across the room. But again, without question, this is the hardest Zelda game I think Nintendo's ever made. Now, when you start out, the first 20 to 30 minutes are a piece of cake. You're not going to be dying, you're getting to learn the ropes. But after that, you're on your own, and you're probably gonna die. And this is because the Breath of the Wild doesn't lock off different dungeons or different areas of the world like previous Zelda games do. Typically, one area you might not be able to get to until you find a boomerang, or a sword, or collect a certain item. In Breath of the Wild, you can pretty much go anywhere at any time. So it wouldn't be out of the question that you end up somewhere where an enemy can kill you with literally one hit. Now, luckily, you don't lose anything when you die except for the time you spent getting up to that point. But one thing you do have to deal with when you're alive is your equipment and the finite lifespan that your resources have. So unlike previous games where you might have a sword or boomerang that just stay with you for the rest of the game, in Breath of the Wild, your equipment will fall apart. Your sword might break, your shield might blow up, and you'll have to go on without them or find new ones. But back to the difficulty. As I said, a lot of the spaces inside Breath of the Wild aren't gated, aside from the strength of the enemies inside. Link is physically capable. He can climb walls, he can swim right off the bat, but he does have a stamina bar and more strenuous activity depletes it. However, if you cook the right things together, mix and match things to formulate recipes, you'll find that you can create things that will boost your health, boost your stamina, and make you impervious to certain types of damage. Now, if you do need some assistance, the best way to do it is with the Legend of Zelda themed amiibo. The different amiibo figures offer items in the game, and that can range from different weapons to food rations to supplies, and a lot of them will help you once a day. So every 24 hours, you can scan in that amiibo again and reap the rewards that those bring. Now granted, I understand if this sounds pretty intimidating to you, having to keep track of everything on a map, having to leave markers, the threat of walking into an area where you're nowhere near equipped to handle the enemies. It sounds daunting, but it becomes second nature very quickly. And as I said earlier, the Breath of the Wild is the first third-person, big-budget Zelda game to not have that elaborate, long, extended tutorial section. You get the powers and abilities you need to start the game right away, and each shrine is a series of instructional scenarios for a particular ability. If you don't want to go through the shrines, you can just as well explore the landscape, kill off some bokoblins, climb and explore the area to your heart's content if that's what you want to do. And you can quite literally spend hours exploring Hyrule. The puzzle logic in the game feels great, it's balanced, it's smart, and the optional shrines scattered throughout Hyrule that act as mini puzzle dungeons are a great addition. Now, I've personally played through about 20 of these shrines, and they never get old. There's new ideas in each of them, and I've never felt like I'm grinding through the game or that anything's getting too repetitive. And actually, that's the thing I'm most struck by. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has so far managed to integrate a steady stream of new ideas and twists on existing Zelda concepts, including weapon durability and variety. Now here's an example. Boomerangs are now dual-use tools. Just like in previous Zelda games, you can throw them at enemies and it'll come back to you, but you need to make sure to catch it on its way back. But you can also use them as melee weapons and just pick it up and smash somebody in the face with it. Additionally, every weapon that I've found so far is a finite tool. It's not something that you pick up and get to keep forever. They get worn down, or they just straight up break and are no longer effective. But even with these and other bigger changes, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has never stopped feeling like a Zelda game. And on top of that, it very handily establishes itself as the first current modern feeling Zelda title in a very long time. Now, I don't usually do review scores, I just tell you what I think, but if I were to give The Legend of Zelda The Breath of the Wild a review score on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a perfect 10. If I was giving it a review score on a scale of 1 to 100, I'd give it a perfect score of 100. As I said in the beginning, I think The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Switch is genuinely Nintendo's masterpiece. If you're picking up a Nintendo Switch, I'm gonna make the assumption that you're also buying this game. It's gonna be the biggest launch title, if not the biggest launch title of any console for any generation. If you don't pick this up and you're buying a Switch, you are truly doing yourself a disservice. Now, as I said, I want this review to be spoiler-free, so I'm not gonna give any more away. I'm just gonna tell you, go out there and play the game. Now, if you enjoyed this one, please do drop a like on this video and let me know in the comments what you think of the Legend of Zelda series, and if you plan on picking up or playing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Go ahead and drop a comment below, and I'll meet you down there for further discussion. I've been playing this game for just over a week. You guys are about to get it in your hands in just over a day from now, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys think of it. So when you do get it and you start playing it, drop a comment down below as well and just let me know what you think. I'm curious to know if people agree with me or not. Don't forget, we do have that big Nintendo Switch giveaway. You can win a Switch along with a copy of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. That is not something you want to miss. Don't forget to check the link down in the description below. As I said earlier, I've already got a bunch of Switch content up. I've got my Switch unboxing, my Switch review, my top 5 accessories to buy with the Nintendo Switch. This was my Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild review, and I've got more coming for you as well. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button. When you see my face appear here at the bottom of the screen, just click or tap on that, and that'll make it easy for you to subscribe for free. Doesn't cost you anything. And if you want to be one of the first to know when a new video goes live here on my channel, be sure to click or tap on the bell after you subscribe. That'll send a notification to your device letting you know that something new has appeared here on my channel. Now, thank you so much, as always, for watching, guys. I appreciate your support. The Nintendo Switch is almost here. I'm Andrew Edwards, and I'll catch you in the next video.